Hi guys, John Florez again, and I think this one's a good one. I've thoroughly neglected to tell you about my horn band, Mirth. Okay, well, here goes. What do you do when you're a rookie producer at RCA? You've signed one act, the Friends of Distinction, and you got Willie Hutch getting ready to be signed, and your boss comes to you and says, John, Columbia Records is doing great with Blood, Sweat, and Tears and Chicago, the two horn bands. Get us a horn band and get it now. Oh my God, well, the only band in town at the time that did that in Hollywood was a group called The Mob, and it was a large group with a lot of members, and I didn't know any of them, and I thought, I don't want to do that. So I made a phone call to Phoenix, and I got the group, the Counterpoints, very, very good group in Phoenix that I had known for years. And my best friend, Johnny Guthrie, was their drummer. Okay, that's good, but they're not a horn band. So what are we going to do? So I called Johnny and I said, Johnny, check with the rest of the guys, see whether they want to come over and find us at least a horn guy. And they did, with Bob Kenrich, who was a sax player and had a great voice. Okay, so they came over to LA, and Ray Cork, my arranger for the Friends of Distinction, said, I got you covered, John. Ray plays all kinds of different horns, and Dave Drury from the Counterpoints, who was coming over, fabulous guitarist and a really good singer. He played occasional trombone, but not professionally, maybe high school band or something like that in his past. So all of a sudden, we got a horn band. The problem is that we have no material. And when you're going to produce an act, you better have damn good material, which we didn't. We didn't have any. So that said, I found the group a really cool apartment up in the Hollywood Hills, and it would work as a great rehearsal place before they drove down the hill and came to RCA to record. The only problem they had was this friggin' bird that kept chirping outside of their apartment. They wake up in the morning, there's the bird. Come back from the studio at RCA, there's the bird. So what are we going to do with this bird? So instead of trying to do something about the bird, the group decided to use the bird and call it the Mirth bird and put it as an integral part of the album. Now, in 1969, that might have been considered hip or strange or interesting. Or not. So frankly, in retrospect, it's an or not. It's a terrible distraction, but it makes me smile because there's that damn bird, the Mirth bird. Okay, so the group writes some material, they come to the studio, we record it. It goes all night, every night, long sessions into, I don't know, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe 5. I'm sleeping some nights on the floor outside the RCA recording office because I can't go home. I got either the Friends or Hutch to do the next morning. So I'm absolutely worn out. My wife Carol is not happy with me at all because I'm never home. And we have a group that's in the studio constantly and going, get this, double budget. So this is not the way I'm used to working. As you know, I had studio players on everything else that I did. Sometimes we would record 4 rhythm tracks in 3 hours. This was in and out for me. We got things done quickly and records were produced rather rapidly. So there we go. Now I gotta say that my peers in LA who produced rock bands, I don't know how you did it. I don't know. I didn't do drugs. I didn't like staying up late all night, and I didn't like taking forever to cut an album that should have taken 1 month max, okay? But my peers seemed to do it beautifully. And Ted Templeton with the Doobie Brothers, and what about the group the Eagles going all night and making all kinds of changes all the time? I just couldn't do it. And I was getting so worn out that I went to my boss, Joe Reisman, who made me sign them in the first place. We got to have a horn band, John. And I said, I want off the project. Let Ray Cork finish it for me. I've done my duty. I've been there too many hours already. And he said, John, get back in the studio and finish the record. So we did. It got released. RCA had no clue how to sell albums at the time. They were lucky to sell albums. And as I reported with the Friends of Distinction, not only was my royalty rate low, but the album sales were horrific, and we had 2 gold records. So RCA struggled with this. Eddie Rosenblatt, my mentor, who was at Warner Brothers and then president of Geffen, he told me early on when he was at Warner Brothers, he said, "John, had you had your hits with our label, you'd be retired by now." I know. So RCA can't sell albums anyway, and they're trying to compete with Chicago and Blood, Sweat, and Tears at Columbia that knows how to sell albums. So I'm not saying that we had a great product. I don't have a clue. Underneath this video are 2 of our better tracks, and you tell me what you think about it. I'd be very, very interested. However, the alternative press covering alternative FM radio raved about this group, and I just couldn't believe it. But I had all these articles printed out saying that this was somewhat psychedelic on some of the tracks, very innovative, sounds you've never heard before. That's true. Ray was a genius. And they loved the band. Okay, so this is the end of the story. I go to RCA's convention in New York at the end of the year, and I'm sitting around the conference table with all our producers, including Chet Atkins, Rick Gerard, Joe Reisman, Ernie Altshuler, Jack Please, all of these producers, and the topic comes up, what do we do with this rock band Mirth that John has? And I said, well, before you make up your mind, and then I laid out all across the conference room table the reviews from the alternative press covering the alternative FM stations. And I said, we may not like it, but there appears to be a market for this, a niche for this. Please consider it. And they very quickly, unanimously decided to drop the group. So that's kind of a sad end to the story. I don't know whether we could have made it on another label had we worked there. Don't have a clue. Didn't want to do it in the first place. Didn't want to do it while I was doing it. And even though it broke my heart that the group got dropped, I kind of breathed a sigh of relief because Joe Reisman would have made me go down and cut another album with them had they been re-signed. Oh my God. So it all worked out for me in the end, not as well for the guys. Okay, so that's the story about Mirth signing and recording my horn band back in 1969 at RCA Records. So, as always, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you. Let me know some thoughts, okay? And you guys take care. Bye-bye.